It's just a typo. Don't be so sensitive. My boss laughed after publicly mocking my name in a company-wide email. I said nothing, just forwarded the message to legal with a timestamped screenshot. 3 weeks later, HR was gutted. Our CEO resigned, and the entire board was under investigation. Today, that little joke cost them everything. You ever see your name butchered on purpose in bold size 14 Calibri in front of 368 co-workers? I did. Monday, 9:42 a.m. The subject line was, "Funny Friday follow-up faced with tears of joy," and I wasn't even on the main recipient list. I was CC'd like a joke garnish. The email was from Graham, our senior VP of strategy, aka my boss, the guy who, until last month, couldn't pronounce my name without mumbling halfway through. He'd spelled it Tyrone McSnitchinson. My actual name? Tyron Malik Mensa. The joke was buried in a sarcastic bullet point list of internal funnies from the week. Bullet 3 read, "Shout out to Tyrone McSnitchinson for ratting out the sales team's Friday happy hour. Bro's the real MVP of middle management, face with tears of joy, face with tears of joy, face with tears of joy." I'd submitted an anonymous compliance ticket the week before about 4 directors expensing bar tabs to the company card. Because it wasn't the first time. Because they were doing it under fake client codes. Because I'd overheard one of them joking about how the audit team's asleep at the wheel. They weren't. They were me. And Graham? He knew exactly what he was doing when he put that in the email. The typo wasn't a mistake. It was a signal. Took me 10 seconds to realize what was happening. Then I hit print screen. Then forward. I sent the email, unaltered, subject intact, to the company legal team, CC'd our compliance lead, and I didn't say a single word in the body of the message. Just attached the screenshot and typed one line. Time-stamped, filed, documented. I didn't respond to the dozen pings on Teams. I didn't check Slack. I didn't attend my 11 a.m. stand-up. Instead, I pulled my chair back, locked my screen, and walked 2 floors down to the IT wing, where no one knew who I was or why I was pale and shaking. I sat in a phone booth, listened to my own breath, waited. By 3 p.m. the email was gone, deleted from the thread, replaced with a bland correction about inappropriate humor. But that didn't undo the BCC list, because Graham had forwarded the original to external recipients too. A dozen of them, board members, partners, even someone at the press office of our parent company. They'd seen it, so had I. I watched it all go quiet for 3 days. Then the whispers started. First, HR pulled me in for context. I brought a lawyer, just one of those prepaid services you sign up for during onboarding and forget about. She tore through their canned questions like a wood chipper. Then legal contacted me directly, asked for details. I gave them a USB stick with the backup files Graham didn't know I'd kept. Screenshots, side messages, timestamped Slack convos where directors joked about hiding expenses and calling me compliance boy. One had even photoshopped my face onto a Monopoly cop card. Go to jail. Do not pass go. They'd printed it and taped it to my cube. I'd taken it down quietly that morning. The thing is, I didn't need revenge. I needed records. Because Graham had done this before. Not to me, but to others. A temp, a junior analyst, a pregnant woman who filed a time card discrepancy and got mysteriously written up for performance issues a week later. Each time, the company buried it. But this time, the paper trail was too clean, too loud. On Friday, I got the call. Don't come in Monday. Work remotely. Effective immediately. By Tuesday, HR was nuked. 4 senior reps resigned. 1 VP retired with a quiet payout. By Thursday, the CEO had deleted his Twitter account. And then, the audit hit. Full internal forensic review. Turns out Graham and the sales directors hadn't just expensed drinks. They'd embezzled nearly $800,000 over 18 months. Through shell vendors, fake invoices, falsified client events. All traceable. All connected. And when investigators pulled Graham's Slack logs, they found a private channel called Rat Watch. Guess who was mentioned in it? Over 200 times. Guess who wasn't the only one? This story isn't about a typo. It's about the last person you expect holding the receipts. Update 1. First thing Monday morning, I get a call from a number I don't recognize. New York area code. I let it go to voicemail. 10 seconds later, my work laptop starts buzzing like a wasp in a bottle, email after email marked high priority. Red flagged. From addresses I've never seen before. Turns out the company hired a crisis PR firm over the weekend. Guess who they needed damage control from? Me. That typo? That little joke? It was now a case study in hostile workplace retaliation. And since the original email hit over 400 inboxes, including ones at our international offices, there was no clawing it back. No plausible deniability. Not when it had been screenshotted by at least 9 people, some of whom weren't even on my team. But the rail bomb dropped on Tuesday. Internal audit looped me into a Teams call, 3 people from legal, 1 from the Office of Ethics, and some consultant named Avery who spoke like he was billing $900 an hour. They asked for a walkthrough of everything I'd seen. Not just the email, but the culture. The culture. I didn't sugarcoat anything. I told them about the happy hour receipts coded as client acquisition. About how Graham once bragged during a Friday meeting that he had a platinum Amex and a disappearing act when it comes to finance checks. How directors joked about rotating vendors to avoid scrutiny. About how one intern found an Excel tab labeled Q4 Ghosts and was transferred to another department within 48 hours. They didn't interrupt once. By the end of the call, I was staring at a blank screen and a heart rate that felt like a countdown. Then came the follow-up. They asked for names, specifics, dates. I sent them everything I had. And I didn't stop there. See, what Graham didn't know and what most people at the company still don't know is that I used to work in cybersecurity. Just for a year. But long enough to learn the value of a redundant, encrypted backup drive. Every message, every file, every audit sheet I ever suspected might disappear. Backed up, organized, ready. So when I delivered a zipped file named Mensa_incident_logs_v3, they didn't just get proof of harassment. They got a roadmap. Fake vendors. Duplicate invoice numbers across quarters. Mismatched cardholder names. PDF metadata that still listed the real authors of the expense justifications. And then there was the Slack channel archive. Because someone inside had leaked me the full text from Ratwatch. It wasn't just mockery. It was targeting. Systematic. Coordinated. Messages like, "He's too smart for his pay grade. We need to make him look unstable. If we freeze him out, maybe he'll leave on his own." It wasn't just me. 3 other employees were mentioned regularly, one of whom had filed a hostile workplace complaint 6 months prior and was now working at a CVS across town after being restructured out. The worst part? Graham had pinned a message at the top of the channel. No witnesses, no fallout. Keep it funny, keep it off email. That line? It's going to haunt him. Because now the board had it. The ethics team had it. The press office? They were circling, waiting for the green light to spin it before someone else leaked it. By Thursday, I was contacted directly by the Department of Labor. Not a cease and desist. Not a threat. A request for cooperation. That's when I realized this was no longer internal. This was federal. And the next morning, it got worse. Our company stock dropped 7% before noon. Reddit had picked up the email. A whistleblower subreddit had the screenshot. The comments were a flood of blacked out names, speculation, even memes. One post got 14,000 upvotes in 4 hours. Imagine tanking your entire company because you couldn't resist calling someone McSnitchinson. By Sunday, the CEO released a statement. Corporate speak for, "We're taking this seriously." But it was too late. On Monday, he stepped down. Not just him. 2 board members tendered their resignations within 24 hours. And Graham? Fired. Not let go. Not resigned. Fired. Without severance. Publicly. But here's where it gets ugly. You'd think that would feel like justice. You'd think I'd sleep better. But I don't. Because in the days that followed, I started getting anonymous packages. First, a padded envelope at my home address. No return label. Inside? A printed photo of me at the company holiday party 2 years ago, arms around coworkers, drink in hand, except someone had written in Sharpie across the top. "Wonder who you'll bring down next." Then came the emails. From burner accounts. One-liners. "Careful who you trust. The rats drown too, eventually. Hope you don't like sleeping." I reported every one of them. But I knew what they were. The ghosts of a culture that didn't die with Graham. A network of enablers. Cowards in suits. People who'd laughed at that email and only changed their tune when the fallout touched them. I've kept quiet in the office. I work from home now. VPNs, encrypted drives, private mailing box. But I'm not backing down. Because this isn't just about me anymore. This is about every person who got sidelined, laughed at, whispered about because they followed the rules in a company that rewarded breaking them. This story isn't over. Not by a long shot. Update 2. I wasn't expecting the call from Sophia. Not at 2:14 a.m. Not after 2 weeks of dead silence. She used to be the head of HR. The kind of woman who wore white blouses and red lipstick like armor. Once told me she got into corporate conflict resolution because people underestimate how powerful silence can be. But the voice I heard that night? No armor left. Shaky. Raw. Like she just watched something burn and didn't know if it was her fault or her turn next. She didn't ask how I was doing. She asked if I was recording. I said yes. Then she started talking. Turns out Graham wasn't acting alone. He wasn't even leading. He was the shield. There was a quiet initiative buried in email chains and off-book project folders called Operation Civ. Not a nickname. An actual header. Its goal? Reduce internal volatility by preemptively identifying compliance disruptors. Translation: find the people who asked too many questions, who flagged too many irregularities, who played by the rules too loudly, and flush them out. I was listed in version 3.0 of the spreadsheet. Sophia had copies. She'd found them after getting locked out of her own email hours before she was asked to sign an NDA and leave the building with a security escort. She never signed it. She kept the drive. And now? She wanted me to have it. She met me in a 24-hour diner in Midtown. Wore a baseball cap. Sat in the corner booth like someone being hunted. Slid me a manila envelope under the table like this was a spy thriller and not two burned-out professionals sitting next to a tray of stale fries. You're not the first, she said. But you might be the last. I opened the folder back at my apartment, blinds drawn, locks double-checked. Inside, a printed list of 28 names, each labeled Stage 1, Stage 2, or Stage 3. Internal memos marked confidential, Stratcom only. Expense spreadsheets that didn't just show fraud, they showed orchestration. A transcript of a closed-door board meeting leaked from an anonymous insider. They'd known. They'd known for months. And they'd done nothing. Because firing Graham would have made them vulnerable. Because internal exposure was a greater threat than criminal behavior. Because people like me were expendable liabilities. The most haunting part? There was a column labeled Containment Status. Next to my name, pending escalation. I don't know what that means. I don't want to know. But I printed that sheet 4 times. Stored copies in 4 different places. One in my lawyer's office. One in a safety deposit box. One mailed to a journalist I trust. One buried where I hope no one finds it until they have to. Because I don't feel safe anymore. Not really. This wasn't just corporate retaliation. This was corporate strategy. And then 3 days ago, I got an email from the wife of someone on that list. She'd found my name in her husband's notes. Said he started having panic attacks last fall. Thought he was being watched. Thought his emails were being intercepted. Started sleeping with his laptop in a locked drawer. She thought he was paranoid. Then he vanished. Left a note on their fridge, I can't win against ghosts. That was 5 months ago. No one's heard from him since. She asked me if I thought he was dead. I didn't know what to say. Because honestly, I think he might be. And if he's not, I think he's hiding the only way people like us can. So now I have a decision to make. Go public. Name names. Detonate what's left of the company and possibly get sued into oblivion. Or stay quiet. Hold my ground. Wait for the next wave to either bury me or wash me clean. But every day I wait, I get a little colder. A little sharper. And now, when I see the corporate newsletters trying to spin the CEO's resignation as a strategic transition, when I see ex-board members announcing sudden retirements to focus on personal growth, when I see the LinkedIn messages asking if I'm ready to re-enter the workforce, I smile. Because I know something they don't. This isn't over. It hasn't even started. They wanted a scapegoat. Instead, they got a historian. And historians? We don't forget. Edit 1. Yes, I've contacted a journalist. Yes, I've gone through encryption. No, I'm not posting the docs here yet. Edit 2. To the burner account asking if I've checked my locks tonight, I installed a ring cam last month. Already forwarded your IP. Edit 3. If you're reading this and your name is on that spreadsheet, get out. Make copies. Disappear if you have to. But don't stay visible. Update 3. The camera caught him at 3:08 a.m. Tall. Put up. No visible face. Walked straight up to the edge of my door like he lived there. Didn't knock. Didn't try the knob. Just stood. 22 seconds. Then he leaned forward and whispered something. Too quiet for the mic. But he knew it was there. Looked straight into the lens and gave a thumbs up. Like it was a game. I didn't sleep after that. Didn't eat. Zoe wanted to call the cops. I told her not yet. Not until I scrubbed the footage, pulled the metadata, checked for any signal interference. And while I was doing that, I found a bug. Not metaphorical. An actual physical device. Under my desk drawer. Taped to the underside in black electrical wrap. Quarter-sized mic transmitter built in. Battery still warm. I'd only left the apartment once that week. Grocery run. 20 minutes. Tops. That's all it took. I ripped every outlet apart. Flipped furniture. Drilled my own walls open. Found nothing else. But once is enough, right? We packed that night. Grabbed the go bags, encrypted drives, burner phones. Switched cars with Zoe's coworker. Left before sunrise. Didn't post. Didn't text. Just disappeared. We've done this before. During the early mortgage play, when Zoe was shadowing foreclosure cases and got doxxed by some real estate troll with a Reddit vendetta. She knows the drill. VPNs on boot. New SIMs. Cash only. We drove 5 hours south. Rented a 2-room Airbnb under an alias. No smart devices. No voice assistants. Zoe pulled the batteries out of the smoke detectors just in case. For 48 hours, silence. And then, I got a call from Morris. Not on my new number. On Zoe's. He was panicking. Said someone had shown up at his door asking questions. Claimed to be from an internal ethics review committee. Showed him a badge. Real enough to spook him but vague enough to avoid scrutiny. Asked about me. where I was, what I'd told him. Morris, thank God, played dumb. But when the guy left, Morris's front door was unlocked. He knows he locked it, so he called me, said we need to talk face to face. We set up a burner location. Abandoned coffee shop closed for renovations. We arrived separately, sat in the back booth with paper cups and burner laptops between us. Morris didn't mince words. They know what you're holding, and they're scared. Apparently, someone in the board had quietly been shopping NDAs like candy at a wake, offering ex-employees hush money to walk away. Some of them took it, but not all. 2, maybe 3 had reached out to Morris independently, said they knew what I had, said they'd testify if it ever went public. One woman, Lila, had been forced out over a harassment complaint Graham buried. She kept everything. Another guy, finance team, junior level, claimed the shell vendors went beyond happy hours, said they'd been laundering money through PACs, nonprofits, even a charity that doesn't exist on paper. If he's right, this is bigger than HR retaliation. This is fraud on a federal level. And I'm not the only target. They want everything silenced. So now, we go loud. I called the journalist, gave her the green light. We met her yesterday, park bench, windy, gloves on. She didn't say much, just took the drive, asked 2 questions. Do you want your name attached? Do you want them to burn? I said no to the first, hell yes to the second. She smiled, said to check the morning papers. And when I did, there it was. Front page of the Metro section. Tyrone McSnitchinson whistleblower sparks internal collapse at Fortune 500 company. Exclusive documents reveal decade of fraud, retaliation, and rot. They redacted my name, called me the analyst, used screenshots, metadata, leaked the spreadsheet, and the line that hit hardest? He didn't want revenge. He wanted records. Within hours, the dominoes started falling. The stock dropped another 14%. SEC launched a preliminary probe. 3 former directors deactivated LinkedIn. A mid-tier news blog published leaked messages from Rat Watch. Comments section exploded. And then, the company sent me a cease and desist. Came in the form of a PDF attachment to my old work email. Too late. They're bleeding now. The part they'll never understand? I didn't do this out of bitterness. I did it because the rot was spreading. Because someday someone like me won't have a backup drive. Won't have a lawyer girlfriend. Won't have a brother who warns them before the knife drops. And they'll get buried. Forgotten. Written off as too sensitive. Like I almost was. Not anymore. Now every joke they ever made has a timestamp. Every whisper has a paper trail. Every typo has a headline. Final update. They came to the house. Not the apartment we fled. Not Morris's. The house. The one Zoe and I bought in cash 2 counties over through a trust. No online footprint. No name on the deed. Just a nondescript 2-bedroom with blackout curtains and gravel that made noise when you stepped wrong. Only 4 people knew about it. And someone knocked. No buzzers. No cameras this time. I disabled everything after the last hack attempt. Just a quiet knock at 4:13 a.m. 3 times. Not loud. Not panicked. Just confident. I didn't open the door. I didn't breathe. Zoe slid the safety off the bedside drawer. Eyes locked on mine. We waited. 15 minutes. Then a piece of paper slid under the door. No envelope. Just a single printed sentence. You got what you wanted. Don't forget who still owns the silence. That's when I knew. It's not over. It will never be over. Because there's no such thing as a clean whistle in this game. You don't blow it and walk away. You blow it and realize you've joined a war with no uniforms. Just shadows and stories and people with too much money to let the truth breathe for long. The story dropped 3 days ago. The real one. A full investigative report. Names. Dates. Files. Vendor logs. Every typo that wasn't. It's out there now. On every aggregator. Syndicated. Scraped. Duplicated. The board disbanded yesterday. New interim CEO. Stock frozen. Employees laid off in waves, some without severance. Half the PR team quit mid-meeting. And Graham? He's missing. Not legally. Not publicly. Just gone. No social. No forwarding address. Not even a whisper on Slack. Like he vanished with the shame. But that's not what haunts me. What haunts me is the silence. The sudden, sharp lack of noise after months of chaos. No more burner threats. No more shadow vans. No more late-night knocks. Just stillness. Like they're watching now. Waiting. To see if I flinch. To see if I blink first. Zoe and I haven't unpacked the house. Boxes still taped shut. Clothes still in bags. I asked her last night if we disappeared again, just one more time, could she do it? She didn't hesitate. Only if you bring the drives. Because that's what they don't get. They can shred emails. They can purge files. They can vanish Graham and rebrand the entire company. But I still have it all. Not for leverage. Not for revenge, but for the next guy. The one who'll find a typo in his inbox and feel the ice in his gut. The one who'll think he's alone. He won't be. I'll make sure of that. Edit 1. To everyone who messaged me saying this can't be real, I hope you're right. I hope no one ever has to prove it again. Edit 2. To the intern who just got moved off compliance? Check the folder on your shared drive marked Q4 Archive. Look inside. You'll know what to do. Edit 3. To the man who whispered outside my door, next time knock like a human. Or don't knock at all. Because now,